Hello everyone, and welcome to the first official episode of Hidden Truth Season 2. We are here with Donovan, Nancy, and Dallas. Donovan came over to have dinner with Nancy and Dallas and pick up some of the things that he left when he moved out of the house. So Nancy has this box. This is Dee's stuff she gave to him. So if we open this up, we're going to open this up when we get home. We're not going to worry about it right now, but there's some stuff in there that he kind of, left when he moved out. So we are going to call everybody to the meal. Nancy made a beautiful ham dinner that Donovan actually kind of helped her with. So I thought that was really sweet. I'm not sure. I knew this was going to happen, that they were all going to come in here and sit and eat at the bar, which, I mean, I guess is fine. But, why not sit and eat at the table, where you're supposed to eat? Nancy, why are you doing push-ups? Okay. We are going to have Donovan go ahead and give his mom the key to his apartment. And he's going to tell her, stop by anytime. It's not much, but it's home and I like it there. I met my neighbors today and they all seem like really cool people. Let's have him talk with Dallas a little bit and let's maybe have them discuss healthy relationships. So he's telling them that there's this girl that lives next door that he's kind of interested in. And Dallas is like, well, the best relationships are built on a good friendship. Your mom and I had a whirlwind kind of romance, but there was a lot going on at that time, and there was a lot for us to work through. So you want to make sure that you're not in a battle, war zone kind of relationship. You want to make sure that if you get involved with this girl, that you're that you guys have a good understanding of what each of you want in a relationship and blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, I get it, Dad, thanks. He calls Dallas Dad because he and Jason, if I pull up his thing here, he and Jason don't really have much of a friendship. They don't talk. They're not really close. It's just, part of it, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is for right now. We're gonna go visit Jason in another episode. We won't be playing with him in this episode, but we will be seeing Jason very soon. So Donovan's gonna go ahead and head home. He's like, it's 10:30, it's getting late, and I have some paperwork that I need to do. So we're gonna have him go ahead and come inside. I don't want him to check the dust level. I just want him to go inside, and we're gonna have him go ahead and place this box down. Now, this box has a lot of stuff in it. Let's open it up. So this has his camera, which of course is very, very important for when he does those kind of freelance jobs and stuff like that. And this painting that his mother made for him. So he's going to go ahead and we'll hang this up right here. Ooh, you know what? No, maybe we'll hang it above the TV. Cute. Okay. And then his birth certificate. So let's go ahead. And I'm not going to actually change anything, but I just want to show you guys his birth certificate. So Donovan Kyrie Russell, he's like, okay, great. She did give me my birth certificate and not Sedonna's. And then he looks down at the bottom of the birth certificate and it says born 22.4 inches and 8.2 pounds to Sedonna Ann Russell and Grady Baylor Harrison. And he's like, what? What do you mean, born to Sedonna Russell? He's kind of in a state of shock right now. Because we know that Sedonna's his mom, of course. We learned that in the last season. But he didn't know that. And so he's going to go in the bathroom and basically throw up. Because he feels so sick to his stomach right now. We're going to have him come and sit on the side of his bed. He's like, okay, I just need to breathe for a second. What the heck is going on? So right now he's just feeling a little confused, a little dazed. He's not sure what the heck is going on. And so it's midnight, right? But we're gonna have him send a text to his mom. And he's like, hey, my birth certificate has Sedonna and some guy named Grady listed as my biological parents. What the F is this? Like, we need to talk. And so he's just kind of sitting here waiting for his mom to text back, and she's not answering. So now he's getting mad. And he's like, why has no one told me that my sister is my mom? Like, for sure I'm reading this incorrectly. There is no way that my family has lied to me for 26 years. There is no way that they did this to me. So he knows that he's probably not going to get an answer from anybody right now because it's late. And so he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go grab, I need a drink. So we're going to stock up his fridge with some Power Sip right now because I feel like he's going to be a guy that would love energy drinks. So let's have him open this up and he's going to go grab an energy drink. We'll do this Lunar Frost. All right, so he downed that energy real quick, and now he is going to jump in his car, and he's going to drive all the way to Del Sol Valley, which is probably a 45-minute drive for him, but he's going to Del Sol Valley, and he's going to show up at Sedonna's house. He wants answers, and he needs to know right now what the heck is going on. All right, so Donovan has just arrived to Sedonna's house. He's going to go and knock on the door. And Sedonna's upstairs. She's like, he probably texted her before he got here. And she was like, yeah, I'm upstairs, you know, come on up. So he's going to provoke her a little bit and he's going to be like, Sedonna, explain. And so he showed her the birth certificate and she's like, oh my God, Donovan, have you talked to mom? Like you need to talk to mom. I don't think we need to be talking about this without mom. And he's like, no, we're going to talk about it right now. I need to know what is going on right now. And she's like, Donovan, I wish I could tell you, but this is really a conversation that we need to have with mom. And so now he's just going to start yelling at her. And he's like, Sedonna, you need to explain to me right now why it says that you are my mother on my birth certificate. Yeah, I would say right now they do have a difficult family dynamic. But he's just, I mean, he's really letting her have it. And he's like, you need to tell me right now why it says that you're my mother. You're not my mom. And she's like, well, no, I mean, not in everyday purposes, but biologically, yes, I am your mom. I'm so sorry, Dee. I wanted to tell you, but you were so young and I was so young and there's no way I would have been able to take care of you. And mom and dad were so worried about their image at the time that they only cared about how me having a baby as a 16-year-old was going to affect, you know, their image in the community. And you know, I didn't know what to do. So they adopted you and I just played the big sister role. And he's like, Sedonna, I don't even want to hear that from you right now. Like, what do you mean? You just let them adopt me? Like you didn't want me or what? And she's like, no, Donovan, no, that is not at all what I'm saying. And he's like, what? Well, you could be a mom now, but you couldn't be a mom then. And she's like, well, Donovan, think about it. You know, I was 16. I didn't know how to be a parent. And mom and dad sent me away so that I could have you without anybody knowing. And then when I came back, they just told everybody they adopted a baby. And he is like, you know what? I don't even want anything else from you at this point other than to know who the hell this Grady Henderson Harrison guy is. And she's like, well, Grady was my high school boyfriend, but again, mom and dad wanted me to end that relationship because we were in two different social classes. And he's like, are you kidding me? They made you break up with my dad because he was poor? And Sedonna's like, listen, mom's a different person now than she was then. A lot of that was dad, and he he's a different person now too, Don. You should really try to get a hold of him and just talk to Dad. He has a lot of regrets about the way that he handled things when we were young. And I'm sure that he doesn't hate you. It's not that he doesn't want anything to do with you. It's just that he doesn't want to invade your personal space. And she's like, if you would give him a chance, I think that you would learn that, we all just tried to do what we thought was best for you. And he's like, you know what? You gave up the right to decide what was best for me when you signed away your parental rights. And so at this point now he's leaving. So Donovan came home and had a couple beers out of the fridge and then passed out. It's now about 8:30 in the morning and he's feeling better, but I think he's still probably pretty angry. So we're going to go ahead and add a little angry buff for him. But he left Sedonna's last night really upset. And so now he's like, I need to talk to my mom. So he's going to go and get dressed and he's going to head over to Nancy and Dallas's house and have a talk with his mom. And I don't know if he's going to be able to keep his cool with his mom any better than what he did with Sedonna. I feel like it's easy for him to blame Sedonna, but I also think that a lot of that blame should be laid on Nancy and Jason. Jason especially, but Nancy too. I mean, she went along with it, especially when Donovan was born. She was a little more accepting, when Sedonna's second child was born, but she was not near as accepting when Donovan was born. So Donovan's kind of walking in the house and he sees Dallas and he's like, Dallas, where's my mom? And she's like, he's like, well, she's up here, Dee, come on. I think she's upstairs. And so they're kind of walking upstairs and Dallas is like, hey, honey, Donovan's here. And I think we can tell by the look on Nancy's face that Sedonna has already called her and told her, like, Dee knows. So Donovan immediately is just going to lay into her. And he's like, I'm not your son. Look, this is what I'm telling you, the game listens. The game knows, y'all. So he's basically just like laying into her and he's like, you're not my mom. You're my grandmother. This whole time, you've been my grandmother and you didn't tell me? Look, and now she's hurt. Oh, no. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Wait a minute. Oh, Nancy feels wronged by Donovan, and being around Donovan will remind Nancy of that. Oh, he's like, I can't believe you didn't tell me this. I mean, this is important, Mom, and you kept this from me. How could you have kept this from me? And she's like, you know what? At the time, honey, money and status was all that mattered to Jason and I, and I feel terrible about the way that I handled things. I feel awful, and if I could take it back, but once I realized I was wrong, honey, it was too late to go back and change it. It was too late to go back and fix it, and I figured that hurting you would be, I would hurt you more if I told you now. So I grabbed the wrong birth certificate when I was packing your things. I forgot to grab the one that said that you were Jason and I's, and I grabbed the wrong birth certificate and I put it in the box and I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. And I think right now, all Donovan can think about, no-win scenario. Why can't they understand? No amount of logic and passion could move your foe. Yeah, I don't. Oh, Nancy, wait a minute. Oh, this is breaking my heart. She never meant for things to end up this way. I mean, she never meant to hurt him. They were trying to do what they thought was best, not only for their image, but for Donovan too. It wasn't just about their image. Oh, and Dallas is coming up and giving her a kiss, and he's like, are you all right, honey? She's like, oh, see, he's worried about her. She's like, yeah, I'll talk to you about it later. And Donovan's like, you know what? Y'all can talk about it now because I'm done. Don't contact me. I don't want to hear from any of you for a long time. Maybe not ever. And he's storming out. He's leaving. He is not happy. And I don't think he knows what to do now. Like, because what do you do with this kind of information? I mean, that's a huge, huge thing to try to come to terms with, especially in like a 24-hour period. I mean, there's no way that he's gonna, get over this kind of betrayal in like 24 hours. That's just not happening. All right. So Donovan just got home. There were some bills in the mailbox that he had to pay, so he went ahead and paid those. We're gonna have him come in and kind of clean up some of the dishes that he had on the table from the other day. And then we're going to have him cook himself a little something. I think he's going to go with something simple and just do a grilled cheese. I mean, he's really not in the mood to cook any kind of big fancy meal. I think now some of the anger is starting to subside. I mean, you'll see here, he still has an angry buff over here, but so it's not completely gone, but some of it is kind of starting to subside and give way to this kind of sadness because he feels so betrayed by his whole family. I mean, everybody lied to him for years. So he's been thinking about it for a minute. And I think what he wants to do is I think he wants to send a sad text to Jason and say like, whenever you have some free time, I need to talk to you. It's serious and, we need to talk. So he's like, come over now. He's like, please, come on over. Let's talk. Whatever it is that you need, I want to be here for you. And so he's going to come over and he's going to introduce himself to Sandra. I wasn't planning on playing with Jason this episode, but, here we are. So he's going to introduce himself to Sandra. This is Jason's fiance, I think. I don't think they're married, but this is his fiance, Sandra. Isn't she cute? I just think she is so cute. So anyway, he's going to come over here and sit next to Jason. I think what I want him to do is I want him kind of have a deep conversation with Jason. So he's just kind of, talking with Jason and he's like, why didn't you guys ever tell me? And I think it's easier for him to not be as mad at Jason about this because he has not talked to Jason in a long time. He and Jason are already kind of estranged. So it's doesn't feel like as big of a betrayal for Jason, because Jason hasn't been a part of his life in a long time. So I know that's a weird kind of dynamic to have, but like, that's how I feel. I feel like he's not as angry with Jason because Jason hasn't really been around. And so he doesn't feel nearly as betrayed because he's not as close to him. Like, I hope that makes sense. Like, and Jason is just trying to kind of explain to him, he's like, D, your mom and I were in a very different place in our lives at that time. And, we were surrounded by all these people that made all this money. And we just wanted to fit in. We just wanted to be a part of that upper society, and have people like us. And he was like, and that was the most important thing to us at that time, was our image and our reputation. And your mom and I made the horrible mistake of putting that above our child and our grandchild. And he was like, I look back on it now, as with a lot of decisions I've made, and I regret it. He's like, I really do. I regret ever doing that. I regret not telling you the truth. I regret the way that I treated Sedonna. I regret the way that I treated your mom. Nancy was a good woman to me, and I did not treat her well. He was like, but, you know, your mom and I have gotten to a point in our life where we can be friends and we can look back on the years that we spent together and smile. And both of us have moved on. Your mom is remarried, and Sandra and I are going to be getting married soon. And, you know, our whole life is different now. Everything is different. And Donovan's like, I still don't feel like that excuses the decision that you made. Like, how do you lie to somebody about who they are? And Jason was like, you know, bud, I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an explanation that's going to make this feel better. All I can do is tell you that I'm sorry and that I regret it. And I hope that you and I can start from, you know, ground zero and build a better relationship. And I hope that you can do that with Nancy and with Sedonna too. And Donovan's like, I don't know. All I can think about right now is how badly this has hurt me. And I don't really want to talk to either one of them right now. And Jason's like, I get it. He was like, but please know that, like, this wasn't all just Sedonna and Nancy. He's like, you know, Sedonna didn't want to give you up. And we forced her into that decision. And Donovan is kind of like, oh. And he's like, excuse me, can I use your bathroom? And Jason's like, yeah, of course, go for it. And so Donovan's coming upstairs to use the restroom. And while he's here, I think he's just going to kind of sit on this cushion for a minute and just kind of take a second to reflect on everything that he has just heard his dad say, you know, and he's not quite sure what to do. So we're going to have him just kind of try to psych himself up a little bit in the mirror and kind of make himself feel better. I think what he's really doing is he's kind of looking in the mirror and trying to figure out who he is, because that's got to be such a huge, like, identity crisis kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, your whole life you grow up thinking one set of people are your parents, and then in the next moment you find out that everything that you've been told is a lie. And I just can't imagine how heartbreaking that has to be. So I think he's about ready to leave. He's going to go downstairs and kind of give his dad a hug. And he's like, thank you for this. He's like, I'm really sorry that I showed up here last minute. And Jason was like, no, buddy, you are welcome here anytime. I love you. I'm sorry about all of this. You know, I wish that I could take it back, but I can't. And Donovan's like, I'm not sure why it was easier talking to you than Mom and Sedonna, but it was. And Jason was like, listen, you got to figure this out in your own way, in your own time. Don't let anybody pressure you into thinking that you have to have a conversation that you're not ready to have with whomever, you know, it needs to be. And Donovan was just kind of like, all right, thanks, Dad. So I think we're going to go ahead and end this episode here. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and a comment down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.